AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Sue. And Mr. Toby Templin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Dabo's given a press conference that might just prove to be interesting here for LSU and Ole Miss fans. Our buddy Chase Parham will be with us in about 15 minutes from right now. David Cone, former Michigan quarterback, Crane and Cone. He'll be here next hour, as will Kendall Rogers. Senior Bowl next week. Ross Jackson will be here to give us a preview. We got a ton to do, so let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Yes, so my apologies. No Terrio today. Macy Terrio is running in a track meet right now at LSU. Her heats are at 2 and 3 o'clock Central. So shout out to Macy Terrio running for the LSU track team. So Terrio's there, and then Georgia Terrio has a soccer game tonight at 5 o'clock. So no Terrio today. Apologies for that. Hope to pick up next week. And boy, we will be in it with our LSU baseball previews. A couple of things. Jay Johnson did meet with reporters here on Friday. I want to delve into that here in just a quick second. I know everyone is asking about Jordan Seaton and Seaton Watch 2026. Oh, well. Seaton Watch. The latest update I have, and I'm trying to get more info. It feels like this is coming to a head. He's coming to a decision soon. It's LSU and Oregon, as I understand. Sounds like Miami, Mississippi State are out, so it's LSU, Oregon, and I think LSU feels optimistic, but this has been one that's been really tough to judge and gauge. So. I don't know if the decision will be in hours or days. If I get an update, I'll let you know. But again, my information is that that's coming to a head. So when I get something, I'll gladly pass it along to you. So Jay Johnson met with reporters, and this is customary here in late January as LSU begins practice for the ensuing season. So the Tigers defending their championship. Jay Johnson met with reporters today, and then the Tigers hit the practice field to start preparation for 2026. And it's interesting because now this is the second time in Jay Johnson's time at LSU that he has had a championship defense, right? They won it in 23, so then he went through this in 24. Now they've won it again. So what's it like going through this for the second time? And Jay was asked kind of what lessons maybe did you learn in 2024 coming off the 23 title that you can apply this year?
I think the valuable lesson is probably the guys that came in that season. You know, you talk about a Jake Brown, a Stephen Milam, and then have been part of both of the last two teams, that they can draw from those experiences. And I've seen that them do that really, really well and evolve as leaders. Jake, exceptional leadership skills. And then watching Steven really grow as a player, like a player I wouldn't trade for any shortstop in the country in terms of what he brings just as a baseball player, but how much connection our team has appeared to have with some new pieces, you know, on defense because of him being the shortstop has been fun to watch.
The really interesting part about that infield is so many of your stalwarts are gone. Jared Jones is gone. Michael Braswell is gone. You're looking at a new infield. Even, Hernandez a year ago was a one-year guy, but Jay even talked about how integral he was to that team as a veteran player. And Aaron Beatty wasn't ready to be the everyday guy. But you look at all the new there on the infield. Trent Carraway at third, Zach York at first. There's going to be a battle at second, and Tanner Reeves is going to be in the mix there with a couple of new guys. You're going to have freshman and Jack Ruckert, kind of vying for it there. You've got a lot of options there, but that's probably where that battle is going to be at second base. But you have a lot of new in the infield, and Jay was kind of asked about that, about those new guys on the infield and how they're coming along so far.
They've acclimated well. I probably undersold or maybe had a lower opinion of where they were defensively coming in here, and they've worked really hard at it. Obviously, we've really ramped up the intensity or the prioritizing the defense part of it. Like after the first season, I became the infield coach, and it's not all that technical or tactical, or it's this crazy system. It's built around fundamentals and reps. And you see them out here working early, taking extra ground balls, working on very specific things. And, you're talking about 4 players that were 4 of the better offensive players on their teams. They know that they have to contribute on both sides of the ball to be the player they want to be here.
For what it's worth, I don't think he would mind me sharing this, and he'll be able to talk about it more when he's here next week. But Terrio has spent a lot of time working with several of these guys on the infield. Some of that is, he's known Jack Ruckert since Jack was a young player and has coached him, and has actually been invited, as a former big league infielder, to go to the box and work with some of these guys on their defense, on the infield. So I can't wait to get Terrio's impression. So when he sat here last week and told you about the battle at second base, I heed his word a good bit there. So, it's a fascinating thing because a lot of times you go into the season and you feel like you have a good idea of how things are going to start, but you understand it's going to be an evolution as the season goes along. It never finishes how it begins. Seldom does it finish how it begins, except for a year where you feel like you've got a lot of things already solidified when you push off from the dock. Like your outfield this year, you have Stanfield, Curiel, Brown. That's your outfield. And Jay even said today they got 3 center fielders playing in the outfield. That's arguably the best. That's arguably the best outfield in the country. I think defensively, that'll be the best outfield since you had Stevenson and Laird and all those guys out there, and Fraley, a bunch of dudes that were center fielders. 2 of them who played Major League Baseball. Like, you're going to be really good in a lot of spots. And then, of course, on the mound, probably the guy that we're going to be most interested in. Look, Case and Evans, I would be stunned if it was anyone other than Case and Evans taking the ball on that Friday opener. But a guy like William Schmidt, we're all making the comp to Cade Anderson, who was a seldom used freshman who really struggled in conference play. But from his freshman to his sophomore year, he made this just meteoric leap, became the College World Series most outstanding player, led the nation in strikeouts, and became the 3rd pick of the draft. I don't know if that's realistic looking, and Schmidt is not draft eligible as a sophomore, so he'll be here for 3 years. But is it realistic to assume year to year Schmidt makes a jump to where he is a consistent part of your weekend rotation? I think that is realistic, and I think Jay Johnson is really excited about how much experience Schmidt got in that first year.
He has tremendous physical ability. When you talk about 4 pitches, the capabilities that he can throw 4 pitches with. I think what sometimes, and this is why being a college baseball player is so important, and getting challenged and getting outside your comfort zone and coming to a place where the talent kind of measures up to you, you learn these small things are really critical. I think you take a guy like William, who probably overwhelmed everybody for 2 years at Catholic High, you might not understand why the midweek bullpen is important, or the lift after the outing is important, or going back and reviewing, the game and taking the next step forward and improving as the season goes along. I think he did a really good job of absorbing all of that, and I think he's very well positioned to take a step in his growth and his maturity. And
That's going to be, there's going to be a lot of fun guys to watch on this staff. Finally, you're getting to watch a lot of the development, some of the transfers coming in. Schmidt is the guy that I think, because we have focused so much on him from his time in high school, because he passed on the 7-figure deal to show up on campus because of all the expectation getting here, he's going to be the one I think that we're all really looking to watch. Look, Devin Sheeran's going to be fascinating. All the expectation when he had this massive jump, started throwing 100 at Mount St. Mary's, comes to LSU, tears his ACL playing basketball. Well, that's going to be a back of the bullpen guy. What about Rizzy going into his sophomore year? Cooper Williams. There's so much depth and so much arm talent on this team. It's just going to be unlike any other roster Jay's had. It doesn't mean you're going to win it. I mean, the most talented, most dominant season any of us saw is the one Tennessee had 3 years ago. They didn't make it to Omaha. They lost a home regional to Notre Dame. So we'll see how it all plays out over 56 and then when you get into the postseason. But my goodness, is this team talented and primed and hopefully ready to have another dominant season, get back to playing June baseball in Omaha, Nebraska. All right, it's after further review. We'll let you hear much more from Jay throughout the course of the show today. Again, no Terrio. We will have David Cohn with us from Crane & Cohn in about 45 minutes from right now. Kendall Rogers is going to be here next hour, about an hour from right now. We're looking forward to that convo. We'll get Kendall's take on this team that Jay has compared to others, and then maybe a 10,000-foot view of the rest of the SEC as they all begin workouts today. Let me knock out a quick break. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Listen, the freeze is coming. You're going to hunker down. You're going to be safe. Don't need you leaving your house. We need you hunkering down and being safe. So you want to maybe flip on some movies, hang out at the crib, whatever it's going to be. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light. You're heading to the store to make sure you stock up on all the essentials, your batteries, your toilet paper, all this stuff. Make sure you get plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light as well. Hey, look, and God forbid, but if you lose power, just go take that Bud Light and stick it outside. If it's 20 degrees, it's going to be freezing. Love it. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Be and drink responsibly. All right, Chase Parham does a great job covering Ole Miss. He's going to jump aboard with us next. Don't you move, AFR.
AFR.
REV. Let's Rev. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com. I got a call earlier this week from friends over at Rev. The project that they have been working on for some time in my neighborhood, now complete. They do, in fact, have an all-fiber network buried underground in my neighborhood, which means it is time now for us to switch to that all-fiber network with Rev. I told you before, here at Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. At Parish Construction and Roofing, we are Rev customers. 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners already trust Rev. You should as well. Whoever you currently have your internet, cable, phone, home automation with, you need to switch to the local company that's been serving our community in various capacities for 90 years and now backed by the power of an all-fiber network. REV. Let's Rev.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Dabo Swinney is meeting with reporters literally right now. The Clemson athletic director is soon to follow. And a lot of LSU fans may be interested in that because obviously LSU is going to open with Clemson on Labor Day weekend of 2026. But another reason this might be interesting is, and I tweeted a bit ago that LSU fans may be interested in this press conference because word had started to spread that Dabo Swinney was going to accuse Clemson, in particular Pete Golding and GM Austin Thomas, of tampering to get linebacker Luke Farrelly. The story there is Farrelly was a Cal linebacker who had transferred to Clemson and apparently, but now he's flipped to Ole Miss, and Clemson is accusing Ole Miss of tampering. Let's get some perspective from Ole Miss. Our buddy Chase Parham is good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Yo, dude, how are you?
I'm lovely, Matt. How are you?
Well, good, thank you. But it feels like this whole thing is something that it's hard to imagine that some of this doesn't emanate from Baton Rouge, as all of these things seem so interwoven right now. Let's just start by me asking you, what is your opinion, take, reaction to what Dabo Swinney today is accusing Ole Miss of doing?
It's twofold. First is it's such a surreal situation to see a coach at a press conference reading alleged text transcripts from other athletic departments, coaching staffs, whatever you want to call it. He is going line by line through this thing, like you said, as we're speaking right now. It's just a surreal, bizarre look. And then two, what year are we in that we are claiming tampering? Matt, there's tampering all over the country every day, the entire season. It's the world we're in, and yet it being Clemson doing this is kind of perfect in a way, because they're the one school that was so good during a bygone era that simply has not translated into it. They translate into it now. And look, I don't have any idea. I'm not an NCAA person. I don't know what signing those scholarships did or did not do as far as Clemson's case. I can say this, however, he never signed a revenue sharing agreement with Clemson. That has been the thing that has some weight to it in this portal era that we are in right now. LSU and Ole Miss are very aware of that with Devin Harper, with Prince Williman. That's the thing that does have some sort of teeth. I've heard of nothing else having any teeth. The transfer portal situation was still open. So I find this entire thing just incredibly bizarre, Matt. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Damon Williams as well.
Yeah, there you go.
They were obviously able, Washington was able to hold him to his rev share agreement and kept him there. We're seeing this transpire right now up there at Duke with Darian Mensah. Chase, is this a weird sort of scorn lover situation as well, involving Lane Kiffin, LSU, Ole Miss, like all of this together? Are there connective tissues?
I've heard that today. I don't know. I can't report it. I wouldn't write it in a story. But, yeah, I think there are definitely issues with that. I think this entire thing is intertwined in that way to some extent because, like you said in the open when you brought me on, everything is right now. It's just where we are in this story as we move forward. I mean, will it eventually calm down? Yeah, but it's not calming down right now. And I think as this thing is playing off, all the scar tissue is still very present. Everything is still very raw in a number of ways. You had the game of chess over Amon Ellen, Ole Miss waiting to the very last second to put him in the portal. Ole Miss trying to get $550,000 worth of a buyout from him for him to go to LSU. LSU offering William Eccles a lot of money on the last day of the portal period. I guess that's what is so odd here to me, though, and is the main story, is that in this conference, in this part of the country, we've just accepted that tampering is what it is. Everybody is speeding. It's what you do if you are active in the portal or a portal program to any point. And I think if anything else, this is showing a sign of just how disconnected Clemson is in this era of college football. Because, Matt, look, I don't know here. I thought it was odd. And I felt like I was in 2014 as Dabo was starting to talk. And let me make this clear. This is not me making an accusation. I just thought this was weird. Dabo mentions, hey, he showed up, he went to class, and he bought a car. And that for some reason, the car line was, are we in 2013? Because Dodge Chargers used to be all the rage. That's how you got guys to campus. That was the thing that was making deals get done. I just thought we are absolutely sitting in a bygone era as Dabo Swinney is talking right now.
Chase Parham is with us on the show. Okay, so, and by the way, I think we're all in agreement. Like, it's what happens. I know from the LSU perspective, they're going to look and say, well, Walker Jones was alleging tampering against Lane Kiffin, and now here's Ole Miss doing the same thing. Are we to suppose that Ole Miss's hands are not clean or are clean while everyone else is dirty? Or is it a thing where Chase, I don't even know the question I'm trying to ask. Maybe I'm just being conversational. Like,
Matt, everybody tampers.
Yeah,
everybody.
Right? I mean,
but here's the truth. In 2026, if you're not tampering, you're not trying to win.
Let me ask a better way to ask it. So I think the Walker Jones comments, and for those that don't know, that's Walker Jones played at Ole Miss. He's the head of Ole Miss's collective, and he made the comments to to Ross Dellinger and Yahoo on the record where he took very direct shots at Lane Kiffin for the way he handled his exit and continue tampering. You covered Lane Kiffin for a long time. I'm new to covering him. My read is that pissed him off, and now he's trying to retaliate. Am I missing the mark, or what's your read there?
No, I don't think you're missing the mark. I think that's true. I think two things can be true. I think you have a situation where I think you're 100% right, and I don't think anybody can be surprised that Lane Kiffin goes to whatever degree he goes to secure talent for LSU moving forward. I think Lane Kiffin is the perfect case of when he's doing it for you, you sort of go, yeah, it's just who he is, and look how he's trying to win. And then if it's any other program in the country that he's at, he's going to piss you off, and he's going to do it. Yeah. He's going to live in this gray area, and nothing's black and white. I mean, it's the Lane Kiffin experience, Matt. You're just getting on the ride right now, and he's probably going to be very, very successful in doing it. And he's also going to leave trails of explosions in his path at the same time. Ole Miss fans have been very aware with that, and they've seen all sides of it as it's played out.
Chase, do you, by the way, that's a good way to put it. Like, I've been very aware of Lane Kiffin for a long time, obviously. Covering him for the first time, however, has been quite the experience because he is so present on social media and everything he touches seemingly goes viral, which is wild. It's just a wild thing to experience, the newness of this. A few other things while I have you. Can you give us the update on where things seem to lie with Trinidad Chambliss?
I fully expect Trinidad Chambliss to be Ole Miss's quarterback next season, one way or the other. They are waiting on an answer as far as the NCAA Appeals Committee. Right now, there is some optimism out of Oxford that he has a chance in that appeal. They have pointed out some evidence that was not particularly was not approached in a correct way in the NCAA's initial decision. There are some people that believe that if he wins the appeal, that doesn't set precedent in a way that the NCAA doesn't like the way that winning the initial case was. But this is by far the least likely of the two options. Ole Miss is still going to have a day in court. Trinidad Chambliss is still going to have a day in court, as I should say. The injunction ruling is expected on or before February 15th. Trinidad Chambliss, I keep saying Ole Miss, that's not correct. Trinidad Chambliss is suing the NCAA and requesting a temporary injunction, which would make him eligible through the court case, which would go throughout the 2026 season, obviously, and a permanent injunction that would prevent Ole Miss or Chambliss from being punished should he ultimately lose that. The judge in the case is Bob Whitwell. He's a Delta State undergrad. He's an Ole Miss School of Law grad. He used to be a former U.S. attorney. And I'll tell you one quick thing on this that I do find interesting is Ole Miss is saying that this is a state court case because they are getting around what is called diversity of jurisdiction. In their minds, their attorneys' minds, William Liston, Tom Mars, the notable NCAA combatant, that if the NCAA has a member institution in a state, they are a member in that state. That would be a huge ruling if it stays because that means federal court would not apply in most of these cases against the NCAA, and federal court is where the NCAA has won the majority of its cases. Also, let's not kid around. State judges are going to be much more friendly to in-state institutions. You're seeing that in Tuscaloosa in spades right now with the basketball kid. So it is possible, as the appeals committee rules, by clearing Chambliss in the appeals hearing, they could avoid any of these court precedents that could harm them far beyond the Chambliss case.
What is the likelihood that Chambliss ends up going to the NFL?
I don't think it's very good at all. I've talked to multiple NFL scouts who said that he's a 3rd to 5th round pick at best. If you look at signing bonus standpoint, that's $2 million or less. He's due to make 5 to 6 as the quarterback at Ole Miss. And because of the confidence that he has in this one way or the other, and the confidence that Ole Miss has in this way, one way or the other, I think they're going to ride this thing out. And like I said, I expect him to take the first snaps when Ole Miss opens in Nashville against Louisville in September or October, August, or whenever the opening weekend is. Also, Ole Miss did not pursue a starting quarterback. They pursued Deuce Knight. They signed Deuce Knight, but Deuce Knight's not ready to take the keys for this Ole Miss offense. They have done nothing to indicate anything but confidence that Trinidad Chambliss will be their quarterback next season.
Rebels 247. He's Chase Parham. Follow him at Chase Parham. And baseball season's right around the bend as well, so we can just skip over basketball and go straight into baseball. The Rebs going to be any good this year?
I do. I think they're underrated. They got Hunter Elliott again on Friday, so they got an All-American to lead them off. They hosted a regional last year. Yeah, I think they're a top 12, top 15 in the country.
All right. I can't wait for baseball, man. Let's get past this freeze and let's get past the freeze. Let's get back past football tampering talk and get into some baseball. Chase Parham, hey, man, thanks for the time as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, bud. Be well. I tweeted about an hour ago that LSU fans would be interested in that Clemson press conference, and I'd kind of been tipped off that that's what was coming, that Dabo was going to read text messages line by line about this this linebacker from Cal who had transferred to Clemson, was enrolled at Clemson, and then Ole Miss went and offered him more money, and so he left for Ole Miss. It's Luke Farrelly is the linebacker. And it's comical. And hat tip to Chase. I mean, he said, look, everybody tampers. He's right. Everybody does. If you're not doing it right in this era, which is why Dabo sticks out like a sore thumb right now. The fact that they had added Luke Farrelly, and now Luke Farrelly's at Ole Miss because Ole Miss went and offered him more money after he was enrolled at Clemson. It just goes to show you didn't have protections put in place, like hat tip to Washington, who did. And Ole Miss with Prince Willem Mielen, who did, which is why LSU had to pay him $500,000 to get him out. So, but I'll also underscore why. And look, you want to go back with me? From the time LSU hired Lane Kiffin, and I told you here and on Locked on LSU that a big part of Ole Miss's objective was going to be embarrass Lane Kiffin. And I think that was a big part of the comments Walker Jones made in that piece to Ross Dellinger. And Lane Kiffin, we know Lane Kiffin reads everything, right? Like, he's on Twitter all the time. He reads everything. He sees it all. And if you think he's just going to sit back and take it, he can go on Twitter and put up the little peace emojis and say, let's bury it, move on, let's all get along. Behind the scenes, I don't think he's moving on. I think he's fighting back. So, Clemson's out there smearing Ole Miss, and good. I'm glad they are. Because the public perception has and had been Lane Kiffin's tampering. Well, no, so were they. And so is Miami with Ty Simpson, and Miami with Darian Mensah, and everybody. So I'm not saying criticize all of them. I'm saying criticize none of them because this is what happens. So don't be selective with your outrage. That's the point that I'm making. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Championship health partner. Hey, we're heading into the weekend. Of course, if you find yourself in need of any type of medical help during the weekend, remember the Lake After Hours clinics. They're all over. You can find that nearest you, the Lake After Hours clinic nearest you online. As a matter of fact, over the Christmas holiday, Erica got really, really sick. It was actually Christmas Day, around like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, where she took a real steep downturn. Next day, took her to a Lake After Hours clinic. She ended up getting an steroid injection. She had strep throat. But hey, look, if it's that, or if it's specialized care, heart health, stroke, pediatrics, anything, cancer, they can help you at Our Lady of the Lake with world-class care. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together, we roar. All right, let's knock out a quick break, y'all. We'll go around the SEC. Former Michigan quarterback David Cohn from Crane & Cohn will be with us here in 30 minutes from right now. We'll knock out a quick break and go around the SEC. Stay here, AFR.
After Further Review.
Love telling you about Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Hey, I always encourage you to go to the website. Look, with the freeze coming, this could be a really good opportunity. Got a little downtime. Maybe you're going to have a day off of work. Kids have a day off of school. So Monday is going to be like a remote day of learning. Keep everybody off the roads. Well, if you're going to be at the house, you got some time to kill, how about you punch up the website, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. One more time, DuplessisBuilders.net. Pools, outdoor kitchens, Go to the website. You'll see where you can pick your pool or pick your outdoor kitchen. They got 11 different pool designs, pre-made, starting less than $50,000. You can do this affordably. Now, you want the giant, beautiful, palatial resort-style pool with all the finishes. They can do all that, as grand and elaborate as you want. But they also have options for you that'll meet any budget, and financing's available as well. Check them out, DuplessisBuilders.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Alabama is going to play, apparently, they're going to play Charles Bediako Saturday against Tennessee, which why wouldn't you? I mean, if you go through all this hoopla to get him back on your roster, of course you're going to play him. If you haven't followed this situation, and I'm going to guess maybe some people are kind of familiar, but you haven't followed it too deeply. The long story short is, so Charles Bediako played basketball at Alabama for 2 seasons. After the 2023 season, he went into the NBA draft, went undrafted, and has now played 3 years of pro basketball in the G League. And he sees the money being thrown around, so wants to go back to college. And so a court granted him a TRO, a temporary restraining order, to allow him to go back to college. And so Nate Oates is going to play him Saturday against Tennessee. Nate Oates said, quote, "He's eligible to play. We're going to follow the court orders." I am hand in air among the most extreme defenders of student athletes in this era. Can we all agree to that? Like I've told you before, if like there's a center line and the far, far, far side over here is the people who are like, no, you can never transfer. You have to sit out. They can't make any money. They're amateurs. The value of an education, blah, 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 blah. You're like all the way over here on this wall. And the middle line is like, you know, there's probably some bounce. I'm through the wall in the other room over there. Like I'm as far, let them transfer as much as they want, let them make as much money as they want. I'm for Diego Pavia getting more eligibility because, like, he's right. He played junior college. That's not sanctioned by the NCAA. He didn't play NCAA football. Like, how's that any different than, remember the dude Pops, whatever his name was, from South Carolina, who was like 40 years old and went back and played football at South Carolina because he never enrolled, never played? Like, how's that any different? Guy never played in the NCAA. I'm good with Pavia getting his eligibility. Go make your money. I ain't mad at you. Like, I'm so extreme on that side of it. Even I think this is stupid. Like, even I, the most ardent defender of student athletes transferring and making money, even I think Charles Bediako leaving, going into the NBA draft, playing 3 years of professional basketball and going, you know what? I think I want to go back there and get some money. Even I think that's stupid. And if I think that's stupid, that's stupid. There is not a soul that should endorse Charles Bediako being able to go back and play college basketball. I understand Nate Oates wants to win, and this gives him an opportunity to win, and you find the loophole and all that. Like, I don't think there need to be a lot of lines. Like, there needs to be a line here. Like, what? Hey, I got an idea. Shaq has another year of eligibility. Let's get Shaq to come play for LSU at Arkansas tomorrow. Can we get him on a plane? I mean, like, I don't think Shaq's going to be, like, super impactful, but could we get Shaq, like, a good 5 to 7 minutes, grab a few boards, maybe rock a few rims? It'd be entertaining. Tell me you wouldn't watch that. We all watch 60-year-old Mike Tyson box. You wouldn't watch 50-year-old Shaq go play against Arkansas this weekend for 5 to 7 minutes, sit on the bench? He's got another year of eligibility. What do you say? Like, as absurd as that sounds, this is absurd. Bro, you went into the draft. You spent 3 years in pro basketball. Come on. You're a pro. Hey, can Will Campbell come back and play left tackle for LSU next year? Could really use him. What do you say? Like, when you're in college, I'm good with you having all those rights, all of them. When you leave and you go play pro, dog, you're a pro now. Like, it's over. You're done. My hope is that the NCAA, look, I mean, he can get a TRO and he can play. My hope is that the NCAA absolutely just banhammers Alabama for this. Like, that they rule him ineligible and just forfeit games, whatever, ban them from the tournament, all that sort of. Like, I hope that happens here. I don't know if it will, but I hope that's within their jurisdiction and they do it. Maybe that's the only thing that would then prevent them, as schools or players, from doing this in the future. Because this is a fundamental absurdity that Charles Bediako is coming back after 3 years of pro basketball to play in college. Me saying that has got to feel like sticker shock to everyone listening to the show. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. We're talking about Arco Power Systems. Okay, y'all. This weekend, the weather's supposed to be really bad, right? We're going to get a lot of rain, and then the freeze is supposed to come on Sunday. And as odd as it is, right, like where there's just this line, like it's supposed to be in the 20s in Baton Rouge and like in the 70s in New Orleans. It's very weird how this is going to be drawn. But if you were in the path of this winter severe thing that's coming and you lose power, you need Arco. Now, Arco cannot provide you a home standby generator. That's not what they do. Arco Power Systems, they are industrial Generac generator power. These are generators for your business. They can sell you a generator that they can permanently install. They can service your generator, and they can rent you a generator. So right now, if you're preparing for the inevitability of this storm coming and the potential of power outage, call Arco or go to their website and prepare for that possibility. It's arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. And listen, I know there's a lot of people that listen to us in Texas, a lot of LSU Saints fans that live along the Gulf Coast. Arco they service north to Little Rock, east to Mobile, west to San Antonio. Draw a big circle. That entire footprint, Arco can help you. So check them out, arco.com, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com. Okay, let's go around the SEC.
Round the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Texas Longhorns.
Arch Manning had minor foot surgery, so he'll be limited in off-season workouts. They do expect him to return for spring. We'll see. They said it was a preventative measure to address a previous issue. Manning threw for 3,100 yards, 26 touchdowns this season, returning as the Longhorn starter.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Remember Jaden Rashada? Yeah, that Jaden Rashada. Well, played this past year at Sacramento State. He's now found a new home at Mississippi State. Pretty well traveled. 6'4", 190. Remember, he was the Florida signee who left Florida because they didn't make good on their NIL deal. Went to Georgia, Arizona State. Redshirt sophomore this past year at Sacramento State. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining and is headed to Mississippi State.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama's added receiver Aubrey Walker to its 2026 class. He's out of Moody, Alabama, 5'10", 170. Ran a 4.3 in the 40. 29 catches for 490 yards and 6 touchdowns in his senior season. He's the number 275 wide receiver in the country. So good to see Alabama adding elite-level blue-chip prospects like dudes ranked 275th in the country at their position.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn's landed former Florida and Bowling Green tight end Arliss Boardingham. He spent 2022, 23, and 24 at Florida before going to Bowling Green this season, but he missed the year with a labrum injury. He's got a medical red shirt, 2 years of eligibility remaining, 6'3", 250, headed to Auburn.
The Missouri Tigers.
And Mizzou has grabbed Miami edge rusher Malik Bryant. Played in 4 games with the Hurricanes, 2 years of eligibility remaining. He spent his first 2 seasons at Miami with current Mizzou linebackers coach Derek Nicholson. So the familiarity there has brought him to Mizzou. Played 12 games there for the Canes. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Get on by, grab a craft cocktail, a fine premium cigar, watch some TV, relax a little bit. Go next door to Don Juan Cigar Company, the retail shop. and shop to fill up your humidor or buy that great gift, it's Don Juan Cigar Bar and Don Juan Cigar Company there in Town Center. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number one. No Terrio today. Terrio children are doing their athletic thing. Macy Terrio's running a track meet at LSU today, or for LSU, I should say. And Georgia has a soccer match tonight. So no Ryan today. We'll have him next week. We'll start talking some baseball. David Cohn in 15 minutes from right now. We'll come back and wrap up hour number one next.
After further review.
If you're thinking about selling your home, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone? Well, that, of course, is Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com, agent225.com. And when you're at the website, I want you to use that home value tool. You've heard me talk about this before. Maybe you haven't. But go to the website. I would actually encourage you to do this right now. Like, grab your phone, go to the desktop, and go to agent225.com, and there's the home value tool right there on the homepage. This is so easy. You can do this in 30 seconds, quite literally. Just go to home value, type in your address, boom, enter. It will populate local market data to give you an accurate value of your home today. So what is your home worth? Maybe you've been in that home 3 years, 5 years, 10, 20 years. What is your home actually worth? Using local market data. The home value tool can tell you at agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number one. The NCAA here today on Friday did, in fact, allow and approve jersey patch sponsorships. I know a lot of you are going to throw up in your mouth and talked about this back in October because LSU already has this deal in place with Woodside Energy. Again, we reported this. I just looked it up. It was October the 9th at LouisianaSports.net when LSU did this deal with Woodside Energy. The terms of the deal are not disclosed, and I'm trying to find out. And there's this. If you go look at estimates for what that could be worth annually, and again, like, this is just a very, very rough, loose guess. You'll see estimates from like low mid six figures all the way up to like mid upper seven figures for an annual deal on jersey patch. You would think with LSU, the brand, the Southeastern Conference being on team, like you would be talking about a seven-figure annual deal, probably over a multi-year contract. I think that's safe to say, and I'm telling you candidly, and I will disclose numbers when I feel like I have them and can responsibly report them. I do not have the terms of this deal with Woodside Energy, but we did break this news back in October about LSU having the deal with Woodside Energy, because remember, they were all Mike the Tiger, the costumed Mike the Tiger. There was nothing prohibiting a jersey patch on a mascot or on practice jersey. So LSU did the deal with Woodside Energy, and you already had the Woodside Energy logo on the, pull this up, on the jersey, on the sponsors. Like, there's if you're watching, there's like the Woodside Energy patch on the practice jersey. And then, Mike the Tiger, the costume Mike, also had the Woodside Energy patch as well. So it's something you've seen already, even if you didn't notice it, but it'll be on the field this fall. And it's something I think I know that LSU was anticipating, which is why they went ahead and did the deal on the practice jerseys. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say the same thing today that I told you in October. For the traditionalists that's going to whine and complain and moan about this, I'm going to remind you that the New York Yankees have a logo on the side of their batting helmet. The Chicago Cubs have a logo on the sleeve of their jersey. You had a logo on the field at Tiger Stadium this year, and after you all got done bitching about it, nobody noticed it and brought it up again. The greatest moments in the history of LSU football, playing championship games, they have sponsor logo patches on their jersey. No one has ever thought, man, That Joe Burrow game sure was awesome, but I'll tell you, that sponsored patch on the jersey sure took away from my enjoyment. Boy, that Nokia Sugar Bowl logo on Justin Vincent's jersey when he ran for that touchdown, or Skylar Green when he broke through and scored the first touchdown in the January the 4th, 2004 Sugar Bowl when LSU won its first natty in 45 years. Boy, it would have been awesome but for that Nokia Sugar Bowl logo patch. Literally nobody thinks that. You're going to complain because you think it's what you should do. But when you're actually rational and you realize in this era, if you want to win, you have to pay to win, and you have people who are trying to figure out ways to generate new revenue, is a brilliant way to generate lots of revenue. So don't bite the hand that feeds. Be grateful for companies like Venture Global putting their logo on the field and Woodside Energy putting their logo on the jersey patch, because all of that is contributing to the team you love winning. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Sports Center's coming up. We'll talk to David Cohn from Crane & Co. next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. Y'all, the rain is coming starting tonight and into Saturday, and then the freeze is going to follow. And we're not going to put our crews on roofs when it's raining or frozen because obviously that's hazardous. When the rain passes, when things thaw out, if you have issues with your roof, we are here to help as soon as it's safe for our crews to get out. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Fill out the form on the homepage if you have an issue. You can always text me directly, by the way. For those that don't know, I am an equity partner in Parish Construction and Roofing. I'm part of the ownership group. So if you want to text me or tweet me or message me, I'm more than happy to help facilitate to get things moving for you as well. But you can always go to the website and fill out the form on the homepage. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. Visit parishbuilt.com.